Look, I don't know who needs to hear this, but I think it might be you. Because I'm worried that you're undercharging, underpaid, and very underappreciated. Because as you watch me draw this, learn all the signs that you might be a cheap artist. But also you'll learn how to get out of this role. Look, if you've never met me before, my name is Sean, and I used to assume this identity. And I used to be a cheap artist. And I used to say things like, oh, I was budget friendly, I was affordable, that I was within the common reach of the common person. And with all of that, that's why I want to speak to you from a very personal place throughout this entire video, because I've been there. And I've been freelancing now for 10 years, and that's about 2 to 5 times the average length of the average freelancer's life. And I see this be a massive concern. And by the way, when I started this, again, I had no following. I still don't have a following anywhere. And I had very mediocre skills back then. And so for those of you that might be in these boats, I just want to let you know that there is a way out. And look, if you're here in this boat, I don't blame you. I started out doing $35 commissions. And if you're here, I'm not shaming you. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just that you might not have been taught a better way to do this. And I bet too, you've never heard any honesty from anybody on how you could do better, because I want you to think not in the next 30 days what you're gonna get, but hey, let's think about the next 3 to 5 years or 10 years. What is it going to look like if you continue these practices? Because I know what that's like. And that's why I want to tell you all of these signs that you might be a cheap artist, and I'm also gonna guide you through how do you do better. The first sign that you might be a cheap artist is if you have a commission queue that is longer than 5 people. And so for those of you out here that have 10, 20, oh God, I hope you don't have more than that. I just talked to somebody in one of my comments that used to have a commission queue of 30 people. Y'all, this is nuts. That is bananas. Why are you taking so many people? If you are doing this, I want to just put this out there for you, and we'll discuss all the myriad of concerns that come around this. You're not supposed to take that many clients. Doing more business is not servicing more people all at one time. It is not taking hundreds of clients every single year. The focus should always be that you should be taking less clients for more money, not more clients for way less money. If you have a commission queue that long, this is your sign, friend, and I want to help you through this. Let's go through this tunnel together. Start to double your prices if you have 10 people that are willing to pay for your services. And I know you might be like, well, Sean, I'm afraid I might lose my clients from that. Okay, don't worry, we'll discuss that today. It's gonna be all right, friend. But here's the main concern. If people are buying your services that much, that's a clear indicator that you have solid demand, and a reasonable conclusion would be you should increase your prices. Look, if you sold 30,000 units of any product that you were pushing out, and let's say you sold a physical product, you would naturally scale up. You would naturally up your prices. Think of every single artwork that you do, like you're selling 10,000 units of one particular product. That's what that means. So again, if you have over 5, you should be pricing up more. And I'm just afraid that nobody ever says that enough. So stop your super long commission queues and start to think, how can I do more business with less clients? That's the key. Next, this is another big one too. And I think that you probably have never heard this before. So I just want to lay this out for you. How much interest are you getting? How many people reach out to you? And how many of those are you closing? Because the next sign that you might be undercharging yourself is that you have a really high close rate. What that means is that, again, like the amount of people that reach out to you, proportionately, more of them, most of them, in fact, are closing with you. This might sound weird, but if you have a close rate that's more than 30%, you are definitely undercharging yourself. And look, I understand how we as artists feel about not getting what we want or getting the no from a client or actually giving a price that a client can't afford. We'll discuss that today, don't worry. But here's the honest truth, and this is from globally a sales background here. You should not be closing more than 30%. That's how you know you have good pricing. And so let's just put this into some other context, okay? If you consider any type of car dealership, their close rate is below 50%. If you are a professional basketball player, you're like an MVP basketball player, The amount of shots you hit is roughly about 30 to 40%. If you are in the Major League Baseball Association, your hit rate is way below 40%. And that's an all-star. So here's a weird thing, is that we think that we need to close every single sale. And look, I get that. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel proud. It makes you feel happy. And again, if you're starting out like this, that's okay. But where do you go from here? Because honestly, if your close rate is that high, that's a clear indication that maybe I can price up a little bit. And then that also compounds with this next sign. Now, in tandem with that last concern, you're gonna probably have this rational fear, which is that what happens when people say no to you? What happens when you throw out a price tag? Oh no, that's too high for me. Or I'm sorry, I can't afford that. Or are you outrageous? How could you possibly charge that much? And so that couples with this concern that you're afraid of rejection. If you are afraid of rejection, then I also just want to put it out there for you. You're also afraid of success. And if this is you, listen, we all feel this way. Like, we all understand this. It's okay. But for you to go ahead and actually be able to make more respectable sums of money, again, I used to start out $35 and I was super mediocre with my artwork. But if you're afraid of people saying no to you, this is the major reason why you are not getting more for your art. And then we also have this weird construct about what that means, that people can't afford you. And I want to get into that today too. And all of this has to just do with this. You're afraid of talking to a client. You're afraid of getting into a better place. You're afraid, why? Because you don't want to hear the denial. You don't want to hear the no. But listen, you have to numb yourself to this, or else you're not gonna do better, my friend. And you can do so much better, okay? If you're not sure how to do this or how to actually have a good qualifying conversation, I'm here for you. And if you're here for that too, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe, because I'm gonna give you real, actionable, honest advice like this week to week, my friend. And two, if you like this, please share with some other artists. I know that you know some other cheap artists that really need to hear this message. And hey, if you really enjoy this video, please hit that hype button. Appreciate it. And then that also kind of sets itself up with this issue. Now, moving forward here, let's bring up this concern. And I know you're probably thinking about this. You're like, Sean, I'm afraid of being and looking too expensive. Oh, but I need to help people. My art is a gift to the world. I want to give it out. I don't want to stonewall it behind these heavy price tags. That's really nice of you to consider that. But have you considered the fact that that's not really your obligation nor your responsibility? But just honestly, other people's wallets are not your problem. And let me just level that up for a second. People are always going to be buying and doing stupid things with their money. There's a reason why credit card agencies are super filthy rich, right? People are always going to be buying liquor and beer and cigarettes and drugs and electronics and going on crazy big vacations that they can't afford and buying very large homes that they also can't afford and just living a lifestyle that they cannot afford. But what about you? You're afraid of coming off as too expensive. Where's their consideration for you? See, they don't have consideration for you. Cheap clients don't have, to be specific, cheap clients do not have consideration for you or your lifestyle. They don't care that you can't pay your bills. They don't care that you can't afford your lifestyle. They don't care that you're struggling and then this is worsening your mental health. They don't care about that. But you're so concerned with them. Oh, I might come off looking expensive. Oh, that's just not fair. Or you might consider, oh, what about the economy, Sean? Don't worry about that. We'll discuss that concern today too, because I hear that a lot. All around, none of those are your concern. What is your concern is what you're doing and can you sustain it? Because let me just put this out there for you. Are you trying to scam people? Are you like the Wolf of Wall Street that's selling penny stocks to ridiculous, over-exaggerated businesses that don't really exist and aren't doing well? Well, if that's not you, why are you pretending like you are? Why are you convincing yourself that you are? If you're not scamming somebody, therefore you don't have to feel bad about it. Let me put this into another context for you, just to make this easier so that this will help you, friend. What if you being paid more actually allowed you to help people more. But if you're afraid of looking too expensive, please know at some point you are going to look expensive. You are going to be expensive. But being expensive does not equal being evil. And that's a common poverty mindset that we really need to break, y'all. Now, this one comes from a lot of my recent comments on some of my recent videos, because again, I'm trying to help y'all, okay? Like, honestly, sincerely, this comes from a good place, comes from the heart, and it comes from a place of me understanding and empathizing where you are at and what you might be hiding. If you have any type of ego response to what your pricing is, and I take a lot of forms, I'm gonna explain that to you, that is definitely a sign that you are way underpaid. So let me just kind of go ahead and give you some scenarios of this one. So like in my recent video, I had a lot of people challenging me on what I thought that people should be charging and how they could get it, and the strategy of which that they're honestly doing a lot of, but it doesn't work for anybody. And a lot of artists came in defense of their prices, and they would tell me that no, it's working for them, that they're doing great. One thing that I common find is that when people are challenged on the way that they think or their strategy that they're using or how they're marketing their art, because we'll get into that today too, they tend to come out with their ego and they'll defend it vehemently, or they'll make up a better scenario than they're actually in, or they'll make it sound like they're super successful. And then here's what I do. I then, therefore, get curious and I'll follow their YouTube links, and that will bring me usually to some type of social media, which will then bring me to their pricing. And I'll realize that their pricing is really, really low. And again, if you're starting low, that's okay. But if you're staying low, that's a problem, and that's a choice. And that's what I want to disrupt for you today. If you're coming at any time that somebody challenges you on how much you're charging or that you're not charging enough, and then you make up your pricing, if you exaggerate and you inflate your pricing, the ego is in the way. And I get it, because it's there to go ahead and keep you safe. It's not there to keep you better. And that's the attitude I want you to adopt, friend. Are you trying to keep yourself safe because you know how this works and it currently works right now? Or do you want to do better? Because just throwing it out there, y'all, you might have a family, you might have a home, you might have this thing called, retirement someday that you want to actually partake in. If you are, again, thinking only in terms of like what's going to happen to me in the next 2 weeks or 30 days, that's so short-sighted. Think about, again, how is this practice going to serve you over the course of the next 5 to 10 years? Moving on, here's one that I used to do and I hear from artists all the time. So tell me right now, are you somebody who every single time that you get an artwork and you get paid whatever amount that you get paid for it, do you reject this advice to upcharge because you say this, Jim? Well, it only takes me a little bit. It only takes me an hour, Sean. It only takes me 2 to 3 hours to do this. Or, hey, look, it's really fast. I don't mind it. It's easy. I'll take $15, $20, $5, $3, $2.50. Is that you? Because if that's the case and you are rationalizing your pricing based on the amount of effort that you're putting into it, the time you're putting into it, you have this backwards, friends. And I really want to go ahead and correct this, because if you want to do better, and you are able to do better, friend, trust me, you can't have this attitude of working exactly to what you get paid. Because just imagine this, and I see this and I hear this from artists all the time, where they'll be like, oh, okay, well, I've been working on this for about an hour here, quitting time, I'll send it off, good enough. Or if you have that attitude as well, like, oh, it's good enough for this, or it's good enough for that price tag, y'all can't have this attitude and want to succeed and do better if you're only working to what you're paid. And let me just kind of flip this on its head too, this entire conversation. What that means is that you're not trying hard. And I get it, because I used to be there too. I used to labor for 10 to 12 hours on artwork and be like, $40? Ugh, that's not even fair. That's not right. And you know what? You're right for thinking that way, because it's not right. You have realized at that point that it's not worth it. And that's the number one reason why artists quit freelancing. It's also the number one reason why I realized that and then started to do better, and I want you to do better too. Next, let's talk about one of the most common concerns. Tell me, how did you come to your pricing? Who told you to do that? Where did you see it? And this ties it into this concern. Are you pricing yourself based on the market? So are you somebody who naturally probably scoured the bowels of any site that you're on, or you're on Artistry, or you're on Fiverr, or you're on any of these other awful platforms I'm gonna warn you about today too? If you're on those, or if you're just scrolling through social media and you see these prices, okay? Please understand this. Most people that are trying to freelance do not take this seriously. Most artists that, sadly, I say this, most artists that are doing this are going to burn out because of bad pricing, and they will never make art again in their life. Most artists that are doing this will never actually feel good about their prices. We'll talk about why that's a big deal today. So here's the best way I want you to think about this. Y'all have to stop this mindset of competing with the market, because if you're competing with the market for bottom floor pricing, guess what you get out of that? You get bottom floor results. And again, if you're somebody that's struggling financially, this is a great opportunity for you to improve your life, to give more, to give back to your family. This is not going to support that though. And so if you're somebody who is looking at the market, please know this. I struggled with this as well. I still see artists that struggle with this all the time. And they'll be like, Sean, how can I possibly price my art when this person's better than me, or this person's been longer than me, or this person's more popular than me? Guess what? It doesn't matter. You are not in a one-to-one market. You're a 1 to 7 billion market. Every single artist out here needs to go ahead and stop looking at what other people are charging and then relatively pricing themselves down, because in that sense, all clients are doing is looking for who can do the best work for the cheapest price. And that's a losing strategy. And I say that because of the fact that you need to bring out the special qualities in your artwork, the things that you like, the subjects that you love, the special qualities within it. Focus on that. It is not okay for you to go ahead and look at the market and price yourself down, because you are different than everybody else in the market. Bring out what is special in you. Bring out what you're focused on, what you're interested in, not what you hope the market will want. All you need to do is just focus on the style and the genre that you really enjoy, and that's it. And if you're not sure how to do that, I've got some great links for you, by the way, in my description on how to do that. But this market fallacy needs to stop. Now, I think that you probably also adopt this stance of pricing your art down because you have a good heart. And this next concern about why you might be a cheap artist is that you think you're being kind and considerate with your pricing. And look, that's a beautiful sentiment. I love that you want to help people. I love that you want to get your art out there. But as soon as you step into the freelance role, please understand that this now becomes and evolves into a business matter. If you want to make art for people for free, or you want to do it for yourself, then awesome. You go ahead and do that. You share your art with the world, or you just post more on social media. Having and coming into a freelance market with the attitude that you are there to beautify the world and overly romanticize this concept of you underpricing yourself equals more distribution, it's not right. And it's also a delusion. Clients care about one thing, themselves, not you. It's a beautiful sentiment that you are so kind and that you have such a big heart and that you have such a great love for art. But this is not the method for doing that. You could actually accomplish those goals through free methods. But you accepting basically nothing for your art, or far less than it would cost for you to go ahead and get a meal, getting charged less than that, that's not helping. You're not helping the world. You're not bringing more art to everybody. You're just bringing more misery to yourself. Please dig down, ask yourself that question. What is really driving you to do this? Because you cannot allow yourself to get taken advantage of in favor of what you are not getting. If you are truly valued and appreciated, friend, people will reciprocate that back to you. Moving on, this is a common concern that I get all the time. And listen, I understand it's a rational, it's a grounded idea for why you're going to not want to raise your prices. And you're going to say something effective like, well, Sean, I feel bad. I feel bad offering this. I feel bad taking that. I feel bad getting this. And you're going to weigh that against what you're able to do. And listen, it's okay that you're not a professional. It's okay that you're not in the art industry. It's okay that you don't work for a AAA game company, okay? It's okay that you don't work for Magic the Gathering. Because if you did, you would still charge a lot more than this. But if you are in that boat and you're telling yourself like, oh, I just feel bad, I feel bad, I feel bad. What do you feel bad about? Really? Like, what is there to feel bad about? And this ties itself with this idea that like, you might be thinking that like, well, Sean, I feel bad taking money from people. Oh, Sean, I don't want to take that much. Life is so expensive. But again, they don't care about you. Let's just put it right back to that. They don't care about you. And so here's another way that you should think about it, because this will elevate you and make you feel good about how you can do things. So the better way to consider it is, if you get more money, how can you serve that client better? If you are able to get more, how can you give them a better experience? How can you give them a better artwork? Because again, if you're being underpaid, you are definitely underperforming, because you know in your head, oh man, like I'm only getting paid this much. This is the effort I'm gonna put into it. Or again, you're on that reverse train and you're like, you know what? I feel really bad about what I got here versus what I actually put into it. And then also, just to level that up, how could you create a better life for you, a better life for your family, a better life for your kids? How could you show people? How could you mentor other people that are struggling with the same concerns? How could you go ahead and be a model for future generations? That's what I am personally obsessed with. That's what I want to do. And that's what really will help you, because it helped me get out of my poverty mindset that I don't deserve it. You do. Maybe you just need somebody to tell you that today. All right, here's a gem. I hear this one, and I used to feel this way too. Do you love your clients? Are you so appreciative of the people that have followed you or the people that have bought from you in the past? Are you concerned, therefore, that you're gonna lose your old clients? Oh, but Sean, they're such lovely people. Sean, I love these people. Oh, they're so nice, they support me. Let's please recognize what this actually is. That is a validation metric. And I get it, as artists, we're not celebrated enough. We're not recognized enough. We have parents and guardians and schools and everything that teach us not to be artists. And that's a bigger problem beyond this video's concern. But that then usually creates a big complex for you. When people start to pay you any sum of money, you get $5, $10, $20 for this or that, and you feel really good about yourself. And that's what I used to feel too. I was like, yeah, ooh, somebody will finally pay me. They've recognized me, they see me. This makes me feel good about myself. But here's the problem. You're not gonna feel good about yourself in 10 years. Not with this. If you continue like this, you'll marginally move up. And here's a reality. You're supposed to lose clients. You are supposed to be consistently, as you're growing up in pricing, you're going down in the continuation of your old clients. See, you might be suffering from this concern that like there is a limited pool of art buyers. It's not true. It's not true. Do you know who said that to you? Other artists that aren't successful. I don't understand why you would ever take advice from somebody that isn't more successful than you. It just doesn't make sense. Like, I don't want fitness advice from someone that's 600 pounds. This is the point. You're supposed to relinquish those old clients. Can you keep them with you? Yes. Should you still upcharge them? Yes. Past a certain point, if they've been with you and your business is taking off and you're getting more clients, look, there's no reason why you can't ask them for more. All you got to do is say this little gem. Just tell them like, hey, look, I'm getting really busy. I'm getting a lot more jobs than I used to. And therefore, I got to raise my rates a little bit. I love to continue to help you. I love to continue and make great art for you. But in respect to my time, I got to go ahead and charge you a little bit more. And that is going to give you an even better product. If you deliver it like that, now they understand, okay, well, I'm going to pay more, but I'm going to get better. And that's what you got to deliver on too. And you can. Next, you probably, as soon as somebody reaches out for you, what do they say? The first thing that comes out of their mouth typically is like, hey, what are your rates? And you'll be like, hey, no, it's this much. You will just spit that thing out like it's a bad meal. Every single time that somebody reaches out to you, you're like, bam, it's this much. Oh, you want that? Bam, it's that much. If you're spitting out your prices that fast, this is a sign that you are definitely a cheaper artist. And again, like you can dress this up and it can make you feel good to say like, oh, I'm budget friendly, I'm affordable. I understand that. It's not true, as we're gonna discuss that today. But on this note, I just want to put this out there for you. You should always be having a qualifying conversation, because this will definitely lead to some really heinous issues that I'm going to discuss today too. And especially when I take a look at, and I just remember what that felt like when I was working on artwork that was like crazy hard or took me more time than I wanted to. And that's when I realized that you need to have a qualifying conversation. I know this might like totally blow your mind here, but this also means that you need to stop showing your prices. When you show your prices online, people buy your pricing, they don't buy your art. They're not an appreciator of it, they're not supporting you. They're just supporting your poverty mindset. And that's not okay. We have to challenge this as artists. And look, just to put this out there, like every single time that you get an interest, that you get any type of message in your art, you're like more excitable than a teenager on prom night, okay? That's where you get trapped. And again, that couples with that fear of rejection. You don't want to get the no. You're excited about the prospect. But hold on. Have a discussion first. Get to know the client. Get to know the project. Get to know if they're a scammer. I can 100% attest to this, that if you've been scammed, this always starts with the discussion first and a lack of discussion. And if you want to avoid that, that's definitely how you need to proceed. And if you want to avoid worse conditions for yourself, this is how you can do better. So now I've reached this point in the video, and I really need to go ahead and just bust this door wide open. If you are using a commission sheet, this is the number one reason why you might be a cheap artist. This is the number one reason why you're not doing as well as you want to, why you're not doing as well as you could. Because again, I recognize as we're going through this video, you might not be ready to accept all of these things. You might not be aware of them, but I want to put this out there for you. Commission sheets have been around for the better part of 20 years, and they've been the worst losing practice for artists to get clients and to grow a business since 20 years ago. They didn't work then, they're not working now. You putting out your prices so abundantly to so many people on any platform is the number one reason why you can't scale. And just to be honest, anytime that somebody fights me on this, I immediately go and I check out what they're offering based on their commission sheet. And I'm like, this is exactly my concern. This is what I'm talking about. And you might have fallen into this trap of making a commission sheet. And I can't tell you how many thousands of artists have dropped their commission sheet after learning the reality of it, which you can learn all about right here in this video. So go ahead and go check it out. And this helped you, please share it with somebody that you know. Thanks so much and see you next time.